pleased with their efforts. This rain, sleet, or snow thing kind of went to heck last week. They just took the week off.
Scott, are we ready or not?
Let me check with the AV folks. I think we
Okay.
are.
Welcome to the January 15th, 2025 Subdivision Utility Advisory Committee meeting. Can we have the opening announcements, please?
Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for today's meeting, the public hearing procedure, and Planning Department staff reports on all agenda items are available on the counter in the lobby. The Planning Commission's bylaws limit the applicant of a subdivision application and his or her representatives to a total of 10 minutes of speaking time at the start of the hearing on that item, plus up to 2 minutes at the conclusion of that hearing. All other persons wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, if they feel that it is needed and justified, the Commission may extend these times by a majority vote. All speakers are requested to state his or her name and address for the record when beginning to speak. When you are finished speaking, please share your name, address, and the case number on the sheet provided in the room. This will enable staff to notify you if there are any additional proceedings concerning that item. All speakers at the podium, please remove your face mask before speaking into the microphone.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Bill Johnson.
Present.
Is Embleman.
Here.
Bob Duell is absent. Jocelyn Klontz.
Here.
Joshua Blick is absent. Leon Mader. Here. And John Williams Bay is absent. Sir, I show 4 members are present, 3 members are absent, and no alternates are here.
All right, thank you. The first case we're going to deal with today is a vacation 2024-57. This was deferred from January 2nd meeting of this year. And we've had some additional information show up between when we got our report and now, and I'm going to ask Scott to bring us up to date on that.
Yes, sir. I've got a request and a recommendation for you all, and I apologize for this, but it's been a relatively quick turnaround since this got deferred last time. That was 2 weeks ago. Since that time, we've had pretty significant snowstorms, a couple of them. We've had a number of different items going to the City Council and the County Commission, and as a result, I apologize, but I just don't think we've had the conversations that we need to really have this in depth and have the best material possible to you. I think staff did a very commendable job about trying to get this report out and get this information, but I still think that we've got some additional conversations to go both internally, and I'd like to get a conversation with the applicant to talk again more in depth about what their needs are and also to share the perspectives of the various departments. Involved in this, we've got not just Public Works, but also the Park Department and planning. So if we could, I'd like to request that if possible, to defer this one to the next subdivision meeting. That will give us some additional time. I realize 2 weeks is a lot of time, but unfortunately with our mail out, it's actually 1 week in effect, and it was a very, very busy week. So by deferring it again, the next subdivision meeting, my understanding, is in 3 weeks. So that would give us 2 weeks to get together. And I've already got a tentative meeting with both Public Works and with the Park Department and Planning for next week, if you are willing and if you choose to defer it.
Okay, so The agent here for this presentation, are you, or is your client amenable to deferring this another 2 weeks?
Yeah, Jay Cook, Boffman Company, 315 South Ellis for the record. Obviously, we'd like a resolution, but we also know that there's a lot involved in this. And having spoken with Scott and Philip, I think whatever helps our chances at a resolution is good.
Okay, Scott?
And if I could, sir, in talking with Jay just right before this meeting, one thing I committed to him and I would like to commit to you all is that the first meeting I would like to have with staff internally to get our ducks in a row and make sure that we're all on the same page with the community needs and what's possible. But I would like to have then a second meeting with the city staff and with Jay and the applicants, if possible, to talk through this more in depth. So that I'd like to make that commitment that we would reach out and get something
And that
scheduled
would
with
be a
you.
request I would have, that we could be at the table for at least one of those to sit down and try to find an amenable solution.
Okay, I think I'll make a motion that we defer this to the next subdivision meeting.
Second.
Any discussions?
I'm going to abstain from this.
Okay. You're abstaining on this one or the next one?
On this one.
I thought you said the second one you were going to abstain on.
Is item 2.
Or
Correct. This is one I will be abstaining from.
this one? Okay, so we don't have a quorum if you abstain, is that correct?
That is correct. You don't need the quorum for the vote. You just need the members present and voting, a majority of those present and voting.
Okay,
Her vote still counts even though she's deferring, correct?
I didn't hear the question. I apologize. What was it?
I said her vote still counts even though she's deferring. There's still 4 members here.
Well, she wouldn't be voting on the issue. We have a quorum so we can conduct business. And to make a decision on a motion, you would just need a majority of those present and voting.
Thank you.
okay, so where do we stand? We can go ahead and vote on this? Okay. All in favor of deferring this to the next subdivision meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 1 abstain. We'll give-
And just for the record, the next subdivision meeting on February 6th, and that is 3 weeks from today. We have a skip week at the end of January.
Okay, thank you. Move on to our second case, is a vacation, 2024-59. Vacation request in the city of an interior side yard setback at 15513 East Willowbrook Circle. Can we have the staff report, please?
Yes, sir. Philip Zievenbergen with planning staff for the record. Vacation 2459 is a request to vacate a platted 15-foot interior side setback on a property zone single-family residential, which is Lot 2, Block 1 of the Belle Terre South Edition. The property address is 15513 East Willowbrook Circle. This is generally located north of East Kellogg and west of South 151st Street East. If you want to go to the aerial, please. The applicant is wishing to construct a garage addition on the southeast corner of their house. They already have a garage there and they're looking to expand it to the east. This is a unique situation in that you've got a platted lot with a platted interior setback of 15 feet. There is this strip of land right here, which is actually a platted reserve. So that's Reserve B, which goes behind all these lots here. And then this piece of land here is a vacated contingent street dedication that was at one point going to be East Kellogg Drive. When this property was replatted south of it, the continuation of East Kellogg Drive did not continue in the replat. And so this contingent street dedication was actually vacated some time ago in 2021. So even if you had a street come through here, this property's 15-foot setback would actually effectively be 30 feet because of the 15-foot reserve between their property line and the street dedication. I had a conversation with the agent for the applicant this morning, and there was a miscommunication with staff. My understanding and the way the staff report was written was to vacate the platted setback in favor of the zoning setback to apply, which would be 6 feet in the SF5 district. And it's actually the request of the applicant to have the setback reduced to 0. And that would allow them to build up to the property line. And just a cursory review of that, because of the 15-foot platted reserve, which is owned by the HOA, they would still be 15 feet away from this street dedication or contingent street dedication, which also is vacated. And so I don't feel there'd be any harm in requesting a 0-foot setback, just because if they do build up to the property line, they're not next to another property that actually is effectively buildable. They will always have, even if at some point this land got split between the HOA and this property owner, even if there was some type of construction where the contingent street dedication was, there would always be a 15-foot strip of land, which is Reserve B, separating any structure on the lot from any structure over here. So that is an update to the staff report for your guys' consideration this morning. Apologize on behalf of staff for that miscommunication with the agent. There have been no public comments on this. Public Works and Utilities, Traffic and Fire do not object to the vacation. Evergy and Cox do not object to it. They have underground lines and equipment near the setback in Reserve B. Any relocation of that for construction would be at the applicant's expense. So at the time of construction, they'll be working with utilities to determine where those lines are and if they have to be relocated. The staff report contains the contact information for Evergy for the applicant and agent to reach out to. And so with that, staff, I believe staff is generally okay with a 0-foot setback at this location because of the unique situation to the southeast of the property for this garage addition, and I can stand for any questions.
All right. Questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, comments from the advisory board members? Seeing none. Is the applicant or agent available? You will have 10 minutes, and please give us your name and address.
My name is David Foster. I'm serving as agent for the applicant. I'm with Foster Design Associates. Address is 11514 West Central Park Court here in Wichita.
Okay.
I do want to give kind of a quick background of what is the necessity for this. As of December, the family is growing to a total of 6 children. As a result of that, they had purchased a 19-foot-long vehicle, of which has no place for storage. And so they want to build this garage addition to handle that. Another factor of need is the third car garage that exists today is now a children's playroom. So they do need this garage, and that's the request. And the 0 feet would be very helpful because it takes, by the time they get the garage in there, there's only 2 feet left over to the actual line there. I'll stand for any questions.
Questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Johnson?
You agree with all staff comments?
Yes.
Okay. Other questions? All right. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this? Seeing none, bring it back to the commission.
Move to approve for staff comments.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Klontz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Our next case will be vacation request 2024-61. Yeah.
60.
Pardon?
I believe the case number is 60, sir. 60. Yep. Vacation 2024-60.
Yeah. This is a vacate a portion of platted right-of-way in the county between Mission Road and Holmes Street. Can we have the staff report, please?
Yes, sir. Vacation 2460 is the vacation of a portion of East Edith Drive, as the description said, between South Mission Road and South Holmes Street. I'm going to go to the aerial, please. The majority of this portion of East Edith Drive is not constructed. It effectively is a driveway to this property here. The applicants for this vacation are all the property owners of these lots that abut them right away to the south. This is an interesting situation where in the Holmes Valley View Estates Edition, when they platted it, all of this area here is East Edith Drive. You have the north portion of East Edith, the south portion of East Edith, and all of this middle space in the middle is actually technically right-of-way. There's a note on the plat that says that there's some state statute that this conforms to that allowed this to happen. Obviously, there's a big drainage way or just natural waterway through it. So they kind of like if you think of in West Wichita, Westlink Avenue, where you have two sides of Westlink and there's a creek in the middle. You can see that the north portion of East Edith Drive was constructed, and even Holmes Street was constructed to the north. In this portion, South Holmes Street is not constructed at this location. If it is approved, the right-of-way land would go to these property owners because they are the ones who abut it, and this is just still right-of-way. Any access, they would, if it is approved, an access easement would need to be recorded with the Register of Deeds to provide private drive access to lots 10, 9, and 8. And those are, this is 10, 9, and 8. So this is lot 1, and when you count the lots, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have 1, 10, 9, 8, 7 accordingly on there. So these are the middle lots and would lose right-of-way access to their properties. So essentially somewhere in here, there would need to be an access drive to provide access to these properties. Talking with County Public Works, they do not object to the request. However, they were the ones who provided the information to say that there needs to be a private access easement in order for these lots. They also, in talking with County Fire, the private service drive can only serve a maximum of 3 residential lots. This lot here, lot 10, would need to dedicate complete access control along the north and have access off of Mission, so that the private access drive would serve 10, 9, and 8 only. In addition, the lot 7 would also have to dedicate complete access control along the north property line and have access off of Home Street. That is the comments from Public Fire or County Fire, and in the way in which they're amenable to this vacation going through as if those conditions are met. Evergy has overhead power lines in an existing 16-foot easement, which is approximately, it's center lined on this property line here, and it crosses the right-of-way as it goes north. And so right in on the platted lots, it's protected in an easement. But if this is vacated and becomes private property, there needs to be an easement across this area here in order to protect their overhead line at that location. There have been no public comments regarding this, and so I can stand for any questions.
Okay. Questions from the commissioners? Seeing none. Comments from advisory board? Seeing none. Thank you, Bill. Applicant or agent, please. You'll have 10 minutes. State your name and address, please.
Kirk Miller, K.E. Miller Engineering. I'm the agent, 117 East Louis. I was contacted by one of the people that wants to build here. And I guess there's 2 people that want to build right now on that lot and that lot. This lot is also owned by this owner. So he would have access down to 49th Street. When I was talking to the person that contacted me, he said he's talked to everybody out there and everybody's agreed to what the comments are in the staff report. I see people over here. I don't know if maybe there's some of the other neighbors that have something different they want to say, but the one I've been talking to, we had talked about the access of this lot right here on the mission, and that they were aware that there'd be access control on Edith. So I guess I can stand for questions. I don't know if these people are interested and want to speak or not,
So
but
these are neighbors, they're not the owners of, well, I guess you're representing all of them, are you not?
yeah, I'm representing one of them that I was contacted by, but everybody along here signed the vacation petition.
Okay, I think we'll take questions from you and then we'll open it up to the public, if that's all right. Questions from the commissioners? Any questions from advisory board members? Okay. Thank you. Anyone from the public like to speak on this? You will have 3 minutes and please state your name and address.
Okay, Shadow Williams, it's my wife, Shadow Williams, 6824 East Edith Drive. This is our current residence. And as of yesterday, we just found out about this. So as far as everybody in the neighborhood knowing, that's the only reason we knew there was a sign posted right here about a vacation of some sort of access. And we were not aware of how these new landowners were going to access their property, but we knew there were certain roads available, but we don't know how this is going to affect essentially this area right here, you say is a right-of-way. I don't know what that means, but for us, it's a community park, basically. And we take care of this area. I take care of all of this area. Our neighbor here takes care of all of this area. And these two neighbors take care of this side. So it's a community property. We were aware that that was a township property. So we're just concerned on what how we would lose out on access to our hiking trails and stuff around these ponds if it becomes private property, or how that's assumed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Public
So-
Works.
that's about all I have now. A lot of our other neighbors couldn't be here because they just found out about it yesterday, just as us. But we spoke with everybody over here and most of our neighbors along 47th, and they were kind of surprised, didn't know what was going on, couldn't actually make it. So
Public Works.
All right. Daniel Strand with Sedgwick County Public Works. So a bit of background on this subdivision is before this vacation came up, the previous owners of, I think you said that was Lot 1, Philip, the house that's there on the south side, Lot 10. They had previously gated that portion of the right-of-way that is highlighted there. And so they were basically treating that park as their area to maintain. And so that became somewhat of an issue within the neighborhood that access was restricted in some areas just by private property owners on public right-of-way. Township was made aware of that, and the gate came down at some point, I think in probably the last year.
just recently, just once they sold it, they took it down.
Okay.
So
So to your question, that area that includes all the ponds in the stream, that will remain as right-of-way, and it will be available to the public. That area that is highlighted, that is in consideration of being vacated, that would become private property. So there could be a gate. Now, the gate would be for 3 houses, so I don't know if they would do that or not. But you would still have access to that property from the north side and even from the south side, just not within that driveway area.
right, and it's all about, we were afraid we were going to lose access to something we've always had as a part of the community. So we weren't sure, because we don't want to trespass on anybody's property. You know, we respect everybody out there. So it's just a lot of unknowns, and especially when I just found out about it. So I had zero time to prepare.
Okay, do you understand better now how this is going to work? After you've heard the presentation?
If the highlighted area is where it was actually platted to be a road, then yes, I understand that. The land on the other side of the platted road, if that still says right of way or how that works, you know, I guarantee, I agree, you know, everybody's got to have access to their property. I understood that. And I just want to make sure that the area within here, we still all had access to as a community, because these are our future neighbors, you know, so.
Yes, that area with the ponds will remain right-of-way and available to you, your neighbors, these individuals on the south end, and even to outside people like myself if I wanted to be in the right-of-way.
Okay, so just to clarify that, as long as we're not on their road, because the road is the private property. So I'm not quite sure why they want to make it private, but I'll have to talk with my other neighbors. And I guess there's another meeting as far as when I looked at this. Yes.
Yes, sir. In terms of your question about is there another meeting, there would be, because this committee will forward the recommendation to the full planning commission, and then from there it will also go on to the county commission if it continues to be recommended for approval.
Because I do know that most of my neighbors would make the next meeting because they'll have time to prepare. They just unfortunately weren't able to be here today. So that's
That meeting is an open meeting. You can have all the neighbors you want come and speak.
okay, great. All right, thank
As long
you.
as they don't all speak about the exact same thing.
Right, and which we haven't had a chance to
I
even really
understand.
discuss this. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Please state your name, address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
David Counts, 1748 Watervale Court in Derby. I'm the owner of Lot 8 here. Just to speak to your questions about why we would want to go private. If we went public, we'd have to get the county involved, and the new codes, I guess, call for a 24-foot wide road with 3-foot shoulder. That would then put the burden of probably about $100,000 road on the 5 lot owners there. So we're not trying to put up a gate or anything and restrict access. We're just ready to build, and the builder said that we have to have electric and a road out there. So that's all we're trying to do, is just to get a road put out there so we can start building. So we're not trying to restrict anything in any form or fashion. So that's it.
Okay, any questions for this speaker? Seeing none. Any other public comment? All right, we'll bring it back to the agent applicant for rebuttal if you want any.
I think everybody understands now, hopefully, of what's going on. It's just gonna be a private drive from there to here. And all that is unchanged. So I'd be glad to answer any questions if there is any.
Okay. Any additional questions for the agent? Okay, thank you. Bring it back to the commission.
Move to approve for staff comments.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0.
Just for your guys' sake, I will send you guys a letter. I'll get it out in the mail today. There's a meeting in this room next week at 1:30 on Thursday called the Planning Commission, where there's another opportunity to provide public comment. The same staff report will be presented, but this is a committee. It'll be presented to the full Planning Commission at that time. So there's another opportunity to provide comment. Yep.
Our next case will be vacation 2024-61. It's a request from the city to reduce a platted 15-foot street side setback to 12 feet for future development. in the area of North 151st Street West and West 21st Street North. Can we have the staff report, please?
Yes, good morning. Again, Philip Sievenbergen for the record. The request 2461 is a request to vacate a portion of a platted street side setback. It's platted at 15 feet and they're requesting to reduce it by 3 feet for a 12-foot setback. Go to the aerial image. This lot, which is lot 15, block 1 of the Area 151 edition, is near 21st and 151st Street West. This lot and several of the other ones around it are still owned by the developer, and they're looking to begin selling off lots and building either single-family homes or duplexes in the area. The request is to allow for a little bit additional space for buildable area on the property for the proposed single-family home or duplex. If this setback was not platted and it was a 15-foot street side setback, which is the standard in the TF3 district, the request to reduce it down to 12 feet, which is 20%, could have been done by administrative adjustment through the planning department. So this request to reduce it down to 12 feet does not exceed what could be done administratively in another scenario had it not been platted. Public Works and Utilities, Traffic Engineering, Fire Department do not object to the vacation. Neither Evergy nor Cox have any objection to the request. The subject site is outside of Evergy territory. Sedgwick County Electric Co-op serves the site. They do not object to the request either. And I can stand for any questions.
Okay. Any questions for the staff? Seeing none, I guess we don't have any subdivision advisory board members left, so we'll call on the applicant or agent to come forward. You'll have 10 minutes, and please state your name and address.
Will Clevenger with Garver here on behalf of the applicant. Address is 1995 Midfield Road, Wichita, Kansas, 67209. We're in agreement with staff comments, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Any questions for the agent? Seeing none. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this? Okay. Bring it back to the commission. I'll make a motion that we pass this per staff comments.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Motion by Zimbelman, seconded by Mader. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. Our final case of the day, I believe, is vacation request 2024-62 to vacate a portion of a platted 60-foot to reduce it to 55 feet, to bring an existing building into compliance. So I believe we've had a update on this one.
That is correct. The revised staff report is at your tables. I also emailed it out prior to today's meeting.
So you'll be presenting
the revised, correct. And all the graphics on the screen are revised to reflect the request.
Okay.
So the revised request is to actually reduce the setback from 60 feet down to 30 feet. So they'd be vacating 30 feet of the platted 60-foot setback. The property is located at Industrial Avenue and Spruce Avenue. It's zone limited industrial. There's an existing building. If you go to the aerial image, the main structure clips into the setback, and that's where the original 5-foot request came in. But upon review, looking at this lean-to structure, which really truly is a structure, the 5-foot setback reduction would not have accommodated this partially temporary structure that really is a structure that needs to not be in the setback either. So the request is updated to reduce it down to 30 feet instead of the original 55-foot request. The zoning setback, this would be a front setback. The lot is rectangular-ish in this direction, and so front is considered the narrowest portion along a street frontage, and so the front would be along Spruce. A zoning setback in the LI district for a front setback is 20 feet. So reducing it down to 30 still is 10 feet more than what the standard zoning setback would be at this location. All the properties around it are zone limited industrial. Kind of calls into question why there was the 60-foot setback. Wasn't necessarily sure where that came from. And so they're looking to just gain the additional land to bring these structures into compliance. There's no necessary need to, there's no desire that they're going to build anything, but it would provide additional flexibility if they ever were to construct or have an addition onto the building at any point in the future. Public Works and Utilities, Traffic Engineering, and Fire do not object to the vacation. Because the setback is still 10 feet greater than the original zoning setback, there shouldn't necessarily be any issues in terms of sight lines, just because you'll still, even if they build to the 30-foot setback, you're still going to have 30 feet of property before the right-of-way line, and then you still have property from the right-of-way line to the curb when it comes to sight lines around the corner. Obviously, probably not a very highly trafficked area in kind of the middle of an industrial park at this location, so there should just be no issue. Evergy has overhead lines near this. They're in an easement, and so there have been clearance standards attached to this. Again, they're not looking to construct any additional buildings. They're looking to bring existing buildings into compliance, but those are passed along to the agent and applicant so that they're aware that if they do construct, that they adhere to Evergy clearance standards. I haven't heard any public comment regarding this, and I can stand for any questions.
Any questions from the commission? None? Okay, let's call on the agent. 10 minutes, name and address.
Jake Doug, Baughman Company, 315 South Ellis here in Wichita, for the record. It may shock you, but I made a mistake on this. I typically don't make mistakes. Just kidding. Ask my wife. Anyways, we had our client asked us to do a boundary survey just for title work purposes. We go out there and realize that the building is encroaching, as Philip said, 5 feet. The mistake I made was the communication between me and the surveyor. I did not realize that lean-to was there until Philip reached out to tell us. So that's why we've requested a little bit more. We basically just want to get this building in compliance for all purposes in the future, to have a good title on it and all that sort of thing. So nothing intentional, just kind of trying to clean up a mistake that was there. So if you have any questions, I'd love to lie to you.
Okay. Questions for the agent? Advisory board? Okay,
Thanks a lot.
thank you. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this? Seeing none? I'll make a motion that we approve this per staff comments.
Second.
The revised staff comments.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Any other business before this board? Okay, I move, we adjourn. You second it? Yeah. All in favor? Aye.